ultimately, ransomware could net attackers in the region of $1 billion. You've calculated how much has been paid so far. How did you calculate that?
So with Bitcoin, every single transaction is recorded on this central ledger known as the blockchain. So we know which addresses the ransomers are requesting payment to, and we can look at the balance of those addresses. So at the moment, around $53,000 have been paid to those addresses.
What's preventing people from paying out? Because, I mean, 50,000 obviously is a lot of money, but potentially there could be much more. I mean, do you expect that figure to escalate, and why isn't it bigger?
So I think the reason is that this ransomware hit on a Friday afternoon. I imagine companies didn't have Bitcoin to hand to pay to the ransomers, so I think we'll see that figure go up a lot this week.
Tom, what have companies come up with in order to freeze Bitcoin payments or to sort of seize Bitcoin payments, if that's even possible yet, is it?
Not really. What you can do, though, is ask Bitcoin exchanges to freeze funds if they're aware that the funds they're accepting come from something like a ransomware attack. So the pressure points are really that these gateways, these Bitcoin exchanges.
And have they agreed to? Is there some kind of international court that might have jurisdiction here?
So it really differs depending on the jurisdiction. Some countries regulate Bitcoin businesses much more than others. The US has been the earliest to move here, whereas in the EU, they're currently coming up with new legislation to regulate Bitcoin exchanges. Is
this malware, this type of malware, as Jordan intimated, Tom, going to become more and more prevalent?
I think so, yes. And I think this has primarily been enabled by things like Bitcoin, which enable payment to be made in a semi-anonymous way. So I think it's only going to increase as a problem. What can businesses do then, individuals do then, to best protect themselves? I mean, one of our reporters suggested you wipe the hard drive and you install a new operating system, a clean operating system. Is it that simple? Well, I think you just have to make sure that all your software is up to date. So these exploits usually rely on problems which have been previously identified and for which there is a fix. So you just need to stay updated. But once you are a victim, you do need to be in a position where you are ready to respond. So if you are going to pay a ransom, you obviously need to be in a position to be ready to do that.
Any reports on whether ransoms that have been paid have resulted in people getting back their data or getting back their ability to work securely?
So we haven't seen any evidence of that yet. What is slightly unusual about this ransomware is that there are only 3 Bitcoin addresses to make payment to. Usually each victim of the ransomware will receive their own unique Bitcoin address. So the way they've done it makes it very difficult to identify who has paid and who hasn't, and therefore decrypt their systems.
And Tom, any idea where these threats are emanating from, or if it's multiple countries involved?
So that's hard to tell at the moment from the Bitcoin transactions. When and if the attacker starts withdrawing these Bitcoins, there will be the potential to trace them, though. So we're waiting for that to happen. Can you tell us about this security researcher who disabled the key mechanism used by the worm to spread? He's become a bit of a celebrity, hasn't he? Yes, it seems that there was a kill switch within this malware, which meant that if it could connect to this domain, then it would stop spreading. And he, I think by accident, did actually register that domain. But future versions might not have a kill switch? No, it seems like an obvious thing to omit from the next version.